6 of us. If you all get a little tired standing, well, you're invited to come sit down on the bench. That's why we put it up here. No, this is going to be very quick, but thank you so much for those people who came out here, the citizens that I see that are here with us. That is one of the most, that's what we do this for, is for people to enjoy what we got and to accept it. And this phone. That's the phone here. And for the people that are here, that live here, to accept it, the people who live around this, to embrace this business. This is a historic day for us here in Jenkins because we have broken out of the box, so to speak. We're now literally out of the box because for so long, the city was so conservative, and for good reasons, because the people that were in charge of this city were very careful with their money because they wanted to make sure that it created a longevity. And we have the same spirit, but a different attitude with this administration. Ours is one that if we build, they will come. And to get yourself out of the box, you have to take some chances. And that's what we've done. Not just us, but this man standing beside me, he bought into the dream with us. He said, yeah, I'll come and we'll start this. When we first started this, years ago, 3 years ago, there was our first decision was to get out of the small place that we were in, City Hall. You know, if you want to be sharp, you got to look sharp. So we didn't think that that had the right appearance for a city that's going to indulge itself into the future. So with a lot of thought, we decided that we would, no, I take that back. With very little thought, we just went out on a limb and went down and bought a building downtown, which came to be one of the finest things that we ever did for the city, because it was just a few that went into a big building, and today it's a small building with hardly enough room. That's how fast we grew in 3.5 years. And that's what you get, but when you take chances, it will come back to you. But you got to be brave. But there are a lot of people that's involved in this. Before we get started, that's just the prelude, what I told you. I want to start this with, for Mr. Caldwell, and we'll ask Mayor Pro Tem Schubert, if he would, do a quick blessing for us.
Thank you. Let's bow our heads, please. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to bring this building and this business before us, citizens of Jenkins. Thank you for those who have participated in it. We just ask your blessing to be upon it, that it may be used to honor and glorify you more than all. Thank you for your blessings. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, let me give you just a quick preview of how we got here. This was the impossible dream. You start with nothing and you end up with everything. And you do it with a lot of courage and also a lot of money that we didn't have. So I knew that we needed to grow, we needed something. And my dream was always a swimming pool. I had that years ago. I took that to Mayor Schubert probably 20 or 30 years ago. And we talked about a pool. At that time it was not possible because there were so many obstacles in the city to overcome. And it just wasn't the right time for us. So when I figured, well, it's my time, because they elected me because I said this would happen, or I said that would happen, and I make these commitments, so I had no money. And one day, and this is a true story, I had no idea where this was coming from. I think Robin came to me and said, you need to go over and check the deposit boxes. That's what mayors do. You need to know what's in there now, so you'll know what's in there when you leave. And it was just routine. And they were putting all these papers out on the table. Here's this, this, and this. And all of a sudden, I started seeing CDs. Big CDs. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I said, what is it? I thought it was, I didn't know what it was. I said, what is this? And not ever knowing much about a CD since I never had one. They said, that's a CD. And they said, it's money that's been put away for the city. And we counted it, and it was $460,000. when we got through counting the CDs. And all I could see was growth. I looked at that and I said, this is what we need. And sure enough, that money was put back by this man right here. When he was mayor, he put all that aside for rainy days. And then it wasn't time for him to pull the trigger to spend it. Not that I don't think he ever would, because he was always wanting to make sure the city was safe and sound. And so, but I had the courage. I took a chance, just a chance. This could have fallen on its face and it could have been the end of our city. But as it is, it's the greatest thing that has ever happened to our city of Jenkins, because we've come alive. You know, we have strangers in our town. We have little voices making noises. We have people investing in our city. And it's only the beginning. And this is how it works. And I was telling somebody here, I was telling Jack, I said, business begets business. But now it didn't come that easy. Finding the money was only the beginning. And you know, being young into being a mayor, I had no idea. And I quickly found out that it didn't matter what I thought, I had to sell that to the city council. There's 6 other people that has to buy into the dream. So I started working. And I started working each one of them individually because I wanted to spend the money. And so to do that, we have a very astute council. They're not easy, they're not fools. You don't pull any wool over their eyes. Because they are in charge of the purse of the city, as you know. That's what city council is for. They're in charge of the money. So I knew I had to sell that. So I went to each one of them and talked to them, and then I got to the main one that always gives me the roughest time about money, is Becky. And she says, well, you know, you've got some good ideas, but how are you going to pay for this? I didn't know. I said, let me get back with you. And that's when we found the money, went back to Becky, and see what happens in government. The more you can put in as the government itself, the more they will match. If they see that you're going to invest in yourself, they will willingly invest with you. They will sometimes double, so they will sometimes triple. Well, that's all we needed was a start. We took that money and we started to just waving it around their nose. Look what we're going to do. We're going to spend money in this town. Will you be with us? Yeah. We got commitments from everywhere. Todd and I worked relentlessly on that. We made sure, because we knew Becky was going to be at our heels. So we just made sure that everything was going to work. Once we got over that, the next sale you got to make is the people. You got to have your citizens buy into the dream with you. They've got to understand that this is how you come out of the box. This is how you come together and make your city vital. You know, this is the lifeblood, is growth, and people coming to our city. We've got people now moving into our city instead of moving away from our city. We got people coming to our city instead of going past our city. And those are the goals you work for. And that's what all of this has done. And it wasn't done by me. It wasn't done by me. Don't get that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it took everybody pushing the wheel. Everybody put their shoulder in. Once we sold the dream to everybody, everybody began to push. And then it began to happen. We bought this place, and they told me the day I bought it, I paid $175,000. This is all public stuff. I paid $175,000 for this 4 acres of land. And everywhere I went, they said, "What are you doing? The house is rotten. That field is a swamp. There's no way you can get nothing to stand on that ground." And then I thought, well, this is it. I mean, but they were wrong. It turned out we had people come in and study it. It's very solid. Over the years, it became very solid and supported itself. The house is California redwood, the toughest wood that you could put up. It didn't even bend or bulge in any place. Every nail that he drove in, and I'm speaking of Mr. Fields, who used to own the water system in Jenkins. Every nail that he drove in was still in place. None popped out. It had the strength of a temple somewhere that they built in, big strong pillars. You'd think that it was built with marble. It was built with wood. A rare wood that you can't get anymore, by the way, is what's in this building. But we were fortunate enough, and it was just a luck for us that it worked out. And then we came in, and Todd and I talked about where we're going to build, where we're going to do this. So he sits down at the table and he starts drawing out the drawing. And then we take that drawing We take it to an engineer, and then he develops that into a fancy drawing, and then one thing after the other, and then it came to pass. While we were building it, I never thought it would happen. Citizens made this happen. A man by the name of Glenn Rose came in here. This was full of trees, big trees. And he came in here, and he said he was doing it for the kids, and he did. And he cut every tree down. He timbered this whole place for us, for nothing. We gave him the wood, but that was only probably a very small percentage of his effort and his sweat equity that he put into this. That got us started. He alone coming in and giving us that one shot in the arm. Because we had this forest in front of us, and we had no idea what to do with it. We were not timber people. We didn't know how to handle it. It's close to the houses over here. So he was the first volunteer that walked on this property. After that, they just stormed it in all kinds of places. They became workers. They wasn't here for no credit. They were here for the children, because they knew that what this would do. And we did too. But we didn't understand all the complications that was ahead of us with the state. And I was told that a pool will never make money. And let me be witness to you today that a pool will never make money. I promise you. But what we did, what Becky did, she said, "Have you got prove it to me that it will work?" Then we realized we had to support this book without saying, "How are you going to pay for all this when bills start coming in?" So obviously you look to the back of the taxpayers, and that was the only hope we had. Now you got to sell it to the public. So we developed what was called a dirty word. It's called a payroll tax, and we did that. And we realized that a payroll tax would support this pool. It did. So by the grace of God, we were able to project that money from that payroll tax, proving that this would be an asset to this city and that it would help our city begin to grow. And it did. Those things it did. And in all the government agencies, by the way, when you say swimming pool to them, you say it to Frankfurt, they ask you to leave. You say it to the U.S. government, they ask you to leave. They don't want nothing to do with the swimming pool. We did this. The city of Jenkins built this pool. That's who built this pool. Without, let me tell you, they don't even give you any help. We did it without their help. You're on your own to start this. But the good thing is, when you get it done, then they're all proud of it. They believe in it. It creates a believability in the city itself, and that's what we did. And we're taking off from that, and we hope to go many, many other places. This restaurant here, my idea was I was going to build this, and I could envision a very quiet, small cafe, internet. People come in, listen to music, get what a nice place. Then we got to thinking, we need a restaurant. And I knew I had to give this up to get that. And sure enough, I went down to talk to Charles about 3.5 years ago, and I started on it. And he was like, "I've not even got this place under it. I don't want two places." And I kept talking to him, and I'm a pretty good salesman. I kept talking to him, and you know that. And sure enough, Charles finally, I don't know what made him do that. He drove up here one day. I think we did watch. And he drove around Jenkins. And he came to us and he said, "Mayor, I want to talk to you about your place." And he made sure, he was like Becky, he made sure that this was a great investment. He has a very large amount of money out of his billfold right there into this place. Very large. He believes in this city, he believes in this location, and he believes in the future of all of us. Enough that you've heard the old saying, "Show me your pocketbook." He pulled his out. And he went to work on this place, and through the help of all of us, me, Todd, all the other employees of the city, we got it finished. I didn't think that would ever happen, but it's finished. And you're going to get to enjoy the results of that. You know, the wonderful food. His reputation is impeccable. as far as what a great businessman he is and what a great restaurant he has. And so we're the luckiest city in the world to get him up here. I don't think I say this joking, the mayor of Whitesburg probably is not real happy with this because I took one of his greatest out of there. But he's going to be at both places. He's, you know, but he appeared one day, and there went the what they call that cafe, internet cafe. There went that idea out the window. You know, there went the dim lights, the quiet music, wherever what. Let's do it. And so we're very happy that he made that choice to choose us here today. There's so many people involved in this city. Volunteers in this city will amaze you. They don't expect no money. This man lives in that house right there, Darvin, see him walking up through there? He walked over here and gave his time and his effort to this ball club right here. And one day he was out there, and I thought he worked for him. And I got to talking to him, and he said, am I right on that? He said, no, I do this. And then he put him a little business in up there. You know, we were real jaundiced about businesses going in our city that doesn't go through the proper procedure. So I marched up there like a mayor should. What are you doing to this business out here? He said, well, he said, you know, I wash cars and detail cars, and I give all the money to the ball team. I said, well, how great. I took my tail and tucked it in and walked back down out of that driveway, and I thought, what a great guy he is. And he's also come here. When we bought this place, he acted as a guard. You know, because when you buy something like this and you start opening up doors and windows, people start picking it apart. They start taking away from it. And they think it's just, and you've seen that happen. And they come in and start carrying stuff off. Well, Darvin stood here and made sure that didn't happen. He pumped the water out of the basement that they said was going to drown the building. And it did. Once we got it dry, it dried. Once we routed, Todd came in and put some relief ditches out through there. It drained it out and it took care of it in the house. And then it began to firm up. And we knew then it was going to be a great place to have a restaurant. But people like Darvin, numbers and numbers of people that welcomed this man right here. He acted busy. You know, John took care of this place for watched it grow and was excited about it. And it gave me encouragement about it. It gave the city employees encouragement about it. So that's the kind of effort it took to get to where we are here today. When I think about it, would I do it all over again? Well, I'm too old to do it all over again. I'd get a younger man with a lot of, you know what that's like, with a lot of energy, and to do it, because it took a lot. It took a lot from us. But look what it's given us. It's given us everything. So we're proud of it, but more than anything, this man right here, he put the icing on the cake for us when he walked in that day, and he said, Mayor, I want to talk to you about your restaurant. And he did it. And from then on, he's not hushed. He took over. We handed it over to him. We helped him every way a city could. Everything that's legal. I hope. That we did. To help him get started in this business. And we're excited about this day. We're excited about this future. And remember, the begats, business begats business. So we think this is the beginning. He does too. He says, but he's done this before. He said, every time I put a restaurant in, other businesses come around. So isn't that what it's all about? It's about growing and working together. But working together as a city, the citizens of this city, the employees of this city, and the city council, they get the credit because, you know, I'm a man that will, I'll take on anything. They just kept me tipping. They made sure that I told them in the beginning. I said, you know, when I don't just want to have an airplane. I want to own the airport. So sometimes that's a little too much. But they kept me in line. Here we are. We're all proud of it. Give everybody the credit for this because they all deserve it. And so, especially this man here. I'm going to hush. I told you I wouldn't talk very long. And I've kept my word. I'm going to let this man, Jenkins said, make that real quick. I said, I will. I will let this man speak here. You know Charles? That's Mr. Charles Caldwell. He is a citizen extraordinaire for us. And his His pedigree goes way back to the city of Hazard, Kentucky. And he's done many, many great things for that and other places. Anytime he touched something, it blossomed. He's that jolly green giant with that big green thumb. And I hope it continues to be a part of this one. So,
Sherry, I should have asked you this before. How do you shut him up?
I try to cook for him.
We're excited here today to I don't call it starting a new place. We're just expanding what we already have. And that's why we kept it the same name and we kept the same food. When I look through the crowd, you're not new people. You're my customers. You're just in a different city. So we hope to have the same great food and the same service that we've had here in Letcher County for the last 8 years. Y'all made us welcome and part of this town, and hopefully we can help all the community activities as we go along. And you know, I'm not going to talk very long because when you're out here, I can't make money. I need you in there. So we're going to cut a ribbon here, and then we'll open the doors and let everybody see all the hard work. Todd, you're going to come over here and cut ribbons. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Todd. This man has worked.
I do want to
one word.
Okay, I do want to say one more thing. You've got to have people in high places when you start projects like this. Our star, Mr. Wayne Fletcher, our magistrate, he got behind us from the very beginning. Anything we needed through the county, he took care of that for us. We love him. He comes into City Hall to check and see how we're doing. He'll go so far as to look at the checkbook to see if we're okay. He is really involved in our city. Of course, he is a citizen, but he has been so significant to us in so many things in our city. He's the champion of city parks. That's his for kids. He loves that. And I think his draw to this was cool for the kids. But I want him to come up if he would. I want to take just a few words, Wayne. Anything to get me to hug.
I'd just like to say thank you, DC. We appreciate what you've done now, and hopefully this will start the big thing. Thank you.
Jack, first, you want to speak?
Has everybody got scissors?
And you see, I brought my main people from Whitesburg to help us get started today. I have my #1 cook from Whitesburg here starting it out cooking, so we want to start out right, and hopefully everybody will be satisfied and come back every day. So I guess on 3 we'll cut the ribbon. 1, 2, 3. So I'd like to invite everybody in. You can mill around a little bit, and the boys should be ready to, if you're ready to eat this early, they'll be ready time we get through walking through and showing you everything. Thank you.